Hey guys, my name's Casey. This is the Casey Wrestling Podcast, and this is my dad, and we're going to talk about wrestling.
Okay, let's talk about wrestling.
So today we're doing a thing where you say what will happen to each wrestler in 2024, and I just have a list of wrestlers. Okay, so number one, you just say like one thing unless you want to do more. Roman Reigns.
What do you think?
You have to say stuff too.
I will, but this is your show.
I think he's going to continue to feud with the Bloodline, and he's not going to win a championship this year.
The entire year?
Yeah.
All right. I think that he beats Solo Sikoa at Raw Netflix premiere. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson shows up and sets up a WrestleMania match between Roman Reigns and The Rock for the true tribal chief.
The true head of the table.
Head of the table. Ula Fala.
No, that's Solo versus Roman.
Right, but if Roman wins, then The Rock comes out and says, but I'm... Or the High Chief, because his grandfather was High Chief Peter Maivia, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, what do you think about that?
I don't know.
Okay.
The Bloodline's not like my thing, so I don't like pay attention to what happens.
All right, who's next?
Cody Rhodes.
Go.
I think he's gonna keep the championship all year. I don't think he's gonna defend against like Roman. I think Roman's gonna stay with the Bloodline, and I think he's just gonna like defend the title a lot, which is way more than Roman did.
It's true. I think that he loses the title early and to somebody. I don't know if it's Kevin Owens, Randy Orton.
I think he needs to go against Randy Orton.
I think that we're going to get that match sometime in 2025.
It's going to main event night 2 of SummerSlam.
But although Cody is a great champion and a great face of the company, I think the Cody story is better with him challenging and chasing the title rather than being the champion.
Next, Seth Rollins. I think he's... Oh.
Is she stuck or she won't?
She was like...
Yeah, she's fine.
She was behind the...
Okay, come on.
Seth Rollins. I don't really know. I think he's going to continue to stay with feuding with CM Punk, and then we're going to get CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, and Seth Rollins.
And the triple threat.
Yeah. Hell in a Cell.
Well, you've already had Punk.
Yeah, I know, but still.
You've already had Punk and Drew in the Hell in a Cell.
I know, but it'd be good.
Yeah. I think they'll put a title maybe back on Seth this year. We'll see.
I think
he's going to have a big year.
The mid-card ones.
I think he's too big for Intercontinental or United States Championship. You know, those are really used to see how somebody can do as a champion. I know that he's been Intercontinental Champion after being World Champion, and Roman has, and John, but I think what they do with it right now, what they did with the Intercontinental Championship in Gunther was perfect, right? You build Gunther up to be this massive star, very unbeatable, you know, and that's what that title's supposed to do. See how can they handle the pressure of carrying the title? How can they deal with having a belt? And so there's nothing to prove by giving that to Seth. But, you know, if they run out of anybody that they don't have to give it to, they very well might.
Next, I have AJ Styles because he's still, like, listed. But I think this is going to be, like, his last year being a current star. Like, he's going to be, like, a Cody Rhodes. He's going to be on a lot. And then I think, like, more years later, he's just be a one-off, kind of like how Roman was.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And, you know, AJ's getting a little older. He still can go. I mean, he's a great performer. When he came back and then got hurt, he was jacked. So I'll be interested to see what he's like when he comes back.
CM Punk. I think he's going to stick with the whole Seth and Drew. I can't really think of someone else he could feud with. Maybe John Cena in his run. I mean,
it's possible you could see that. I mean, there's so many great options to see wrestle with a CM Punk that he's either never wrestled with or hasn't wrestled, obviously, in 10 years in the WWE, to see him mix it up with. I think part of the reason he came back to WWE was, he's never main evented a WrestleMania.
I think we're going to get that. I think it's...
And again, he can still go, but he's getting up there in age, right? Yeah. So is this the year that we get him to main event WrestleMania?
Yeah. Him with John Cena is like a main event.
It's very possible. I think for Cena, is that who you have next? Anybody, Cena?
For Cena.
So I think Cena for Mania, a main event needs to be one of the old rivalries that he had that were so good. So whether that's Punk, Orton, Edge is under contract with AEW, so they're not going to be able to get him back.
AEW.
Huh?
He just returned back
right.
to AEW.
So they're not going to be able to get him back. But the Punk and Randy Orton matches with John Cena are by far the greatest that he's had. So I think that's what you see. I think that years ago in Kurt Angle's final match, they had him face Baron Corbin, which was a great match, and it put Baron Corbin over.
Yeah.
But everybody wanted to see Kurt Angle versus John Cena.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's what they give at Mania. I think whichever one of the two of them they don't have going for the title between Orton and Punk is who you see probably wrestle Cena at Mania.
Yeah. I also think Cena's just going to have this huge year. Because it's his last.
That's right. And Cena could actually be the champion going into WrestleMania and have a match with
I think they're going to give him multiple titles, title matches. I think he's going to face Gunther. That would be a really good match.
Be a great match.
He's going to have, a ton of just title matches and titles.
I think it's hard for Gunther to have a bad match. I've yet to see one that Gunther's been in the ring with all sorts of different types of wrestlers, right? From Ilya Dragunov to Seth Rollins to Jey Uso, Chad Gable, Sheamus, Drew.
Yeah.
Those are all different styles of wrestling, and Gunther's matches are must watch. They're phenomenal.
Yeah, I think they're always really good. Next, I have The Rock. I think he's returning at the Raw premiere, and I think he's just going to stick around with Roman and stuff and just kind of mess things up.
I think you're right. I think we'll see him a couple times. I think maybe after Mania he's probably done being on there a bunch, but I think they're going to set up Roman versus Rock at Mania. They didn't do it. They tried to do it last year. The fans screamed for Cody.
And then they're not going to do 3 years in a row of Roman and Cody.
Never say never. It's a big draw, and it's a good match.
It is, but 3 years in a row, I don't think it's...
Yeah, it's possible. You could be absolutely right. All right, you got some females on this list?
I do.
Can we skip down to one of them?
The first one...
Can we just go with Rhea Ripley, since everybody who should be watching this would know that you're a massive Rhea Ripley fan?
Yeah.
So what do you think is in store for Rhea this year?
I think she's winning Monday, and it's just kind of going to be 2023 again for her. She's going to have these 5-star matches. She's kind of be 2023 Rhea again and just run everything.
You think she's going to carry the belt the entire year?
I think till Mania next year, and you're going to get a really good match, maybe a Rhea and Io, maybe. I was thinking Io wins the Rumble this year, and you get that this year, Rhea versus Io.
That's a good one. That'd be a great
It would
match.
be an amazing match, and then I think you're just going to get more of these 5-star matches out of Rhea, her and Jade at a PLE would be amazing.
What about a Rhea Bianca?
I was thinking that one too, but we eventually have to get Bianca versus Jade.
Sure.
That one's up and coming. Jade's been posting a ton. It's just these photos. Her most recent one of her just covered in blood standing in the street.
Who's that?
Jade.
Oh, really?
No caption, and then there was one of her face with a scar on it, and it's just Jade. Just no caption, just nothing.
What about Raquel and Rhea?
Again? That would be third time.
Yeah.
Third time in the past 2 years.
they had some massive bangers in NXT. I think they had either a no disqualification or a last woman standing match
They're doing
that I believe Raquel won.
Yeah.
It was a great match. And it seems to me, because I'm a little bit older than you, that the Liv Raquel storyline is a lot like Shawn Michaels' Diesel from the mid-90s. And I mean, you can clearly tell that is who Raquel is trying to portray when she's doing this bodyguard thing. I mean, she's exactly how Kevin Nash Diesel was, who then for a while eclipsed Shawn Michaels and became a bigger star.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and he was just a powerhouse superstar. You know, I think he beat Bob Backlund in a matter of seconds for the championship, and then was just a dominant holder of that belt until he left for WCW. So, and Raquel's got the ability to do that. She's super strong. She's very, I almost said big, but big's probably a bad way to describe a female wrestler.
Yeah.
But she's taller than, and you know, WWE's got a good mix of these strong, like physically strong, impressively strong women between Jade, Raquel, Rhea, Bianca, Nia Jax, Ivy Nile,
crazy.
You know, Tiffany Stratton is strong. You know, they've got a good mix of those now, where you could get these. The women's division's been phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
You can't forget Charlotte Flair also.
Yeah.
The women's division has been phenomenal the last decade. Now I think they have the ability to push it into its own, a whole nother stratosphere with some of the matches that they can put together.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what else? You got another woman on there?
I do, but I wanted to hop back up to Sheamus because I actually had notes next to him.
Okay.
I think he's finally going to win the Intercontinental Championship, and he's going to be a Grand Slam champion because we've been waiting since like 2022 for him to win it, and it's 2025 now, and he hasn't.
It's true. Intercontinental champion right now.
Braun Breaker.
It's a tough one to take it off of.
I mean, Jey Uso did.
He did, and then what happened?
Lost it.
Back to Breaker. Breaker's a beast. Breaker's the future of WWE.
Oh yeah, it's future face.
Right. I think you've got a couple of these. You got a lot of them, but that are up there now. These young studs that when they're given the ball in WWE, I think you're going to have a big 2025. I think Breaker's one. I think whenever they finally break Theory and Grayson Waller up, both of those are nothing but star power on them. Theory probably more as a babyface.
Waller
almost like the John Cena arc.
Yeah.
And then Waller has the ability to be a phenomenal heel.
Yeah.
Just can get under your skin, but then can go to work in the ring and put together great matches. Super athletic. You know, you've got those guys. Carmelo Hayes.
Speaking of him, I definitely had notes on him.
On Melo?
Yeah. I think he wins Money in the Bank. It already makes sense with the name. You could do Mello in the Bank. You had Mella in the Bank. You could do Mello in the Bank. I think he's definitely a future champion. I don't think he's gonna cash in on one of the big titles, because if he wins it this year, he's not like Roman Cody level, but he's gonna get there. He's gonna be like Breaker. They're gonna be the face of the company.
Well, listen. I mean, you got to remember too. He's young. He's only been in WWE for a couple of years. He's only been on the main roster for, a year now?
Yeah.
If that. And Cody and Roman were not Cody and Roman.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, Cody had to leave the WWE to become Cody Rhodes. To become what this version that we're seeing of Cody Rhodes now. Right? Roman went through the Shield, went through a whole lot of hard times and versions of Roman to finally figure out this tribal chief. I mean, remember, this guy won the Royal Rumble and got booed for winning the Royal Rumble. You know, and then turned around and had a phenomenal main event with Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
You know, that then got capped off with Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
So what about that? Do you think Brock's going to come back this year?
I think he's still on I was looking through the list, he's still on there. Like, he's still marked as a WWE wrestler. So is Edge and Christian, which is definitely something. But, like, I don't know. I think it's just, he would have to return with something with Roman or Cody, because those are like the people you want to see him with. But Roman's with the bloodline stuff. Like once you finally get him out of that, you can maybe bring Brock back. But Cody, you want him with like Randy and Kevin Owens, and once you finally get him out of that, is when you bring Brock. So if he returns, it's later in the year.
What about Brock versus Cena?
That would be good.
What about Brock versus Gunther?
I wanted that one last year. That was like my dream WrestleMania match. Was that one last year?
I mean, think about that. Think about how good of a match that could be. And I'll throw one more out there. Brock versus Punk.
Paul Heyman guys.
Paul Heyman.
What if you just do all the Paul Heyman the Paul Heyman guys that are still around?
See, you like the triple threat matches. I don't dislike triple threat matches. I just think that they get a little bit clouded and confusing. Not confusing, but just too much going on. And most triple threat matches go the exact same, right?
Yeah.
Two guys beat each other up, or two people beat each other up. One of them falls out of the ring, then the third guy comes in. Those two fight. One of them fall. And I mean, you get some great moves, and the matches are great. But I think there's something to be said about just two athletes in a ring telling a story for 20 to 30 minutes that gets you just kind of caught in and going, oh wow.
Yeah.
It makes you, suspend your beliefs and just watch it and enjoy it.
Yeah. Another person I have notes on is the Wyatt Six. I think Uncle Howdy's gonna feud with Cena to do like an homage to Bray versus Cena.
Could be.
I think that we're definitely gonna get that, and I think the Wyatt Six is finally gonna have some sort of PL event. And then I think you're gonna get all of them in the Rumble separately, and they're all gonna do some sort of homage to Bray.
So
Howdy's definitely in the Rumble. I don't really care what anyone says.
Yeah, I don't know that you're gonna get all of them in there.
Definitely just Howdy and Rowan.
I will go with probably Howdy or Loomis.
Yeah.
Dexter Loomis is a great athlete, always has been. I think he had a great character before.
Yeah.
But I think him as Mercy the Buzzard.
Yeah.
Right, that's who he played.
I think he's Buzzard.
It allows that creativity, and he, I think, fits that role very well. So I think if there's any of them, it's maybe just Loomis. But
I don't know.
Because you have to remember, right? The Rumble has 30 people in there, and like we've already talked about, the WWE roster right now is so stacked with just phenomenal talent. Like every year, normally going in the Rumble, you get a lot of guesses on who's going to be the legend that shows up, who's the returning superstar. Who
was the
legend
back. Last year?
I don't even remember. I don't know if
we didn't really get like a big
Pat McAfee.
I mean, yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. The roster's so stacked, and there's so many people that they could say, hey, this is who we're going to tie the rocket ship to go to Mania.
Yeah.
That bringing back people who aren't going to win. Like, bringing back a returning superstar is one thing, right? Yeah. If this is when Big E comes back because, say, he's finally healed and can wrestle again, that's a massive thing, right? Like when Edge came back, it was a huge surprise and a huge thing. That's one thing. But just randomly, I think the days of just randomly throwing superstars into the Rumble because they have to fill 30 spots. I mean, you see it again, like we were just talking about how stacked the women's roster is.
Yeah.
If you watch the first couple women's Royal Rumbles, lots of returning female wrestlers, which is cool and very good for them because a lot of those paved the way for, what's going on now. Yeah. But that number has really started to dwindle on the returning ones or the legends because the roster is getting so massive, right? I mean, we were talking about big, stronger. We forgot Lash Legend.
Yes.
I mean.
Yes, I need her full-time main roster because she was just in an NXT event last week. I think she's been moving around, but I really think she needs to stay main roster because she's just this powerhouse. I think
just as long as wherever they're at, I think people like Lash Legend,
Trick Williams.
Just trying to think of some of the other. Fallon Henley.
Oba,
Tony D. maybe Tony D's ready to come up. I think a lot of them just need ring time because, you know, a lot of them were college athletes or pro athletes that then transitioned into wrestling and have taken it very well, but it just takes a little bit to get used to being in the ring. And then like you and I've talked about, like I think Roxanne Perez physically and ability wise is ready to go with anybody on the main roster. She just needs to, I think, work still a little bit.
What I eventually want to see is Roxanne versus AJ Lee, because Roxanne, you can tell, is based off of AJ Lee.
Yeah, there's a lot of modeling there.
And Roxanne hit a pipe bomb on AJ Lee's husband.
Right.
And then I just think you could do that. I feel like we would get Roxanne, AJ Lee, and the ref be Punk. I think that would be amazing.
I don't think Punk could be unbiased in that.
Oh, yeah. But, like, still, it would be a really good match.
It would be. All right, what else you got?
One thing I want to say about R-Truth, I think he's going to win the tag team titles with his childhood hero.
With John Cena?
Yeah. I think that's definitely...
I think that would be pretty awesome.
I think they're just going to have this run.
But who do they beat then? DIY?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the War Raiders are back.
And they're staying. The War Raiders. I love them.
I love that they have allowed them to be the War Raiders again.
Yeah. With, like, not all the face paint and... I mean, they have some paint, but it's not like...
It's not this completely Viking gimmick. They're almost back to being War Machine, which is who everybody wanted to see when they came to WWE. We saw them at NXT as the War Raiders years ago, and they were phenomenal.
They kind of remind me of Hank and Tank from NXT.
Yeah, except for they're way better.
Yeah, but just like...
Don't get me wrong. Again, Hank and Tank just need some time.
Oh,
but
yeah. They have pretty good like mic stuff, like backstage little segments. They're really good at that.
But the War Raiders are...
Yeah, the War Raiders.
All right, let's do a couple more and then...
I don't want to talk about her. She's... I don't. But Liv Morgan.
We have to talk about Liv Morgan. How do you not... I mean, that's probably your 2024 female superstar of the year.
No, it's Toni Storm.
We're talking WWE.
It was a tie between... I think it was a tie between Liv and some other big superstar. Rhea was on the PWI thing.
But Liv Morgan has been able to take herself to a level now where if she has a match with Rhea Ripley, you truly believe she has a chance to win it. Which, again, when you're just looking at the physical attributes of the two superstars, Rhea should be able to go in there and dominate that. And that takes some work on Liv's part, on the character and her in-ring abilities to get to that point. And I think she's reached that point where, you know, if she got a clean victory over Rhea, nobody would bat an eye and be like, well, that was ridiculous. And so I don't think there's
if she does get some sort of clean victory, that would be surprising because of just like what has happened these past, 3 matches?
Oh, I don't think she's going to get a clean victory if she does.
Oh, no.
But all I'm saying is if she did, I think people would be like, okay, that makes sense.
That was kind of sort of my reaction with Liv and Io when she actually won clean.
Right.
Like, I was surprised Raquel and Dom didn't go down to the ring because I feel like if they did, they would
interfere.
Yeah, just exactly how she beat Rhea twice. I mean, actually, she didn't beat Rhea at Bad Blood. Rhea won because of disqualification. Right. Because Raquel messed up.
All right, let's, can we do the Usos?
Yes.
You want to start with Big Jim?
What did I see that I thought would actually happen? Is something with Cena. I don't want to relate it all to Cena, but I never said what I thought was going to happen to Liv.
2025 is going to be the year of Cena.
I never said what I thought was going to happen to Liv.
Oh, that's right. What's going to happen?
Well, she's going to lose Monday. And I think it's just going to be kind of her and Raquel again because Dom's going to want to go back to Rhea. He wants the title. I said that, I think, right when he started hanging around Becky was, he wants the title. He doesn't care anymore because Rhea's gone. But, like...
Can I throw a curveball?
What?
Who's the women's Money in the Bank champion?
There's that, too. Tiffany wants him, and I think he just wants to go with whoever's champion. Because he was hanging around Tiffany, and then Nia was there, Nia's champion. I think he's just wants the championship.
What if at the Raw on Netflix, Tiffany cashes in?
I don't want to say it because I don't want
Dirty
Rhea to
dog.
win. I think it's because she needs to cash in on Nia. I think that's who she's fading away from because Candice is coming in. I think her and Nia are fading away from each other. And
But that's almost too obvious, right? Like everybody's waiting for her to cash in on Nia. Everybody's waiting for it.
Well, she cashes in on Chelsea or whoever becomes.
Yeah, but I think Tiffany is going to cash in on a world champion. And I mean, like I said, everybody's waiting on it for Nia. What if all of a sudden Monday night,
I don't know.
Riptide, Nia's music hits, Rhea gets distracted, Tiffany's music hits, or Rhea Riptide 1, 2, 3.
It is a last woman standing. It's not going to be a 1, 2, 3. It's going to be
okay. So 10. Rhea knocks out Liv. She wins. Then all of a sudden Nia's music hits. Nia distracts Rhea. Tiffany comes in, whacks her in the back with the Money in the Bank. 1, 2, 3. New women's champ. So Rhea wins. Rhea becomes women's champion again. Rhea loses belt to Tiffany Stratton.
But how are they going to carry that forward when you have Tiffany and Nia champion?
Tiffany goes to Raw. Nia stays on SmackDown.
Yeah, but you're just kind of breaking a feud. I think we eventually have to get something with Tiffany and Nia. I think it's just, I mean, it's given, but it's just kind of something that has to happen.
Very possible. All right. All right. So Jimmy Uso.
I had something about him and Cena, and I can't remember what exactly. Like, I was thinking about it, and then it just kind of went away.
Okay. I think Big Jim has a couple big matches, some great promos, does some awesome stuff, helps out Jay here and there. But I think at some point, probably towards the end of the year, we see a Jimmy and Jay reunion. Usos come back.
Like Usos?
Like Usos. Like maybe it takes a little bit. Like, well, here, we'll talk about him after. So I'll tell you my theory here in a minute. So what do you think about Jay?
I think he's going to, it's not just based off of what he's posted on Instagram. He said, I'm going to be world champ 2025-ish. So I think they're going to do something at like the end of the year. They're going to do some PLE after Survivor Series. Like maybe like a Saturday night. But I think just like one of the bigger PLEs that they haven't done in a while. And I think he's going to win in that general month. Like from Survivor Series to the end of the year. I think we're going to see Jay. I mean, you've had Solo beat John Cena. I think it's like the end of the year, John Cena's champ, and I think you have Jay beat him.
It's possible. What, there's one other one I want to talk about. I want to get your thoughts on. The New Day.
I had them on the list. I think, well, you're going to get Big E back.
Okay.
And you're going to have some sort of match with them. It's, it could be a 2-on-1 handicap. Like, it's going to be something where these Kofi and Xavier get, like, a lot, like really mad over everyone ignoring them and being, like, mad at them for leaving Big E. And I think you're going to get a 2-on-1 handicap because there's, like, really nothing else you can do.
Right.
Because, unless Xavier and Kofi get mad at each other, like they've been.
It's possible.
And I don't want to say another triple threat match, but, like, what can you do other than a 2-on-1 handicap?
What if Big E was over so big, right, when he got hurt?
Uh-huh.
Everybody loved Big E. So if you're trying to turn the whole New Day heel, what better way to do it than have a segment where Woods and Kofi get mad at E, send him on his way.
Again?
Locker room, no, they already had it. Locker room's mad at him. Crowd's mad at him. They get a title match, the New Day versus DIY.
Yeah.
Or it could even be the War Raiders. But I think DIY would be a great match.
Oh, yeah.
All of a sudden, Big E's music hits.
Yeah.
Everybody in the crowd assumes he's going to come out and just demolish Woods and Kofi.
He helps them.
Turns on them, or turns on the crowd, attacks DIY. Woods and Kofi win the belt. New Day reunites as heels with the championship. Who is New Day's greatest opponent of all time?
Oh, shoot. The Hardys?
No.
I know they had something to do with the Hardys.
Yeah, but no.
I don't
We literally just talked about them.
War Raiders.
They're twins.
The Usos?
The Usos.
Oh, yeah, did the Usos beat them for their titles that they held for 600 days?
Right. So now we get an Usos reunion, another Usos reunion.
Yeah.
Usos versus New Day. It'd be great.
Great.
I think that comes maybe closer towards the end of 2025. Could be a Mania if they don't have anything planned for the Usos or New Day.
I mean, they have the match card.
Yeah, I mean, I think the match card's filled out, but like you saw from the documentary
they can get
last year,
at any time.
One injury throws plans all over the place. Oh, yeah. And then you're in scramble mode and you put together one of the greatest WrestleManias of all time.
I mean, they do that with, Charlotte, they definitely had stuff planned for her. And then she tore her ACL and it kind of... Punk. Yeah, they definitely...
I mean, imagine what that did. And look how great they were able to do.
I mean, I want, like, Rhea. Like, if Liv, like, that was, like, an actual injury, I was kind of looking back at it.
Right.
And if that didn't happen, Rhea would have been around most of those 3 or 4 months. And we would have gotten these other amazing matches that can come out of Rhea and Liv. And I just think you could have gotten more. But you still would have eventually gotten that SummerSlam stuff. But just, I think, I don't want to say her injury was good, but I think the way they played it off was actually kind of good.
I think they did great. All right, so let's end on one last thing. So we talked about the Women's Wrestler of the Year. Who do you think was the 2024 Men's Wrestler of the Year?
Cody.
Cody?
Yeah. I mean, he just kind of had the best year out of everyone.
Did he?
I can't. Who else had, like...
Drew. What about Drew's year?
Wasn't he out?
Drew was out for a little bit, but let's think about this, right? Drew goes to the Rumble.
Yeah.
He's still kind of a babyface, right? I mean, he's starting to transition because he just teamed with Judgment Day at Survivor Series.
Yeah, he injures.
Goes to the Rumble. Punk gets injured while he's wrestling Drew. Drew cuts the promo about, I prayed for this.
Yeah.
Becomes an internet genius, social media genius. Is able to... Punk was around and doing promos, but Punk didn't wrestle until SummerSlam.
Did he wrestle at SummerSlam?
I don't even remember. When did they finally wrestle?
Wait. No. Yes. Yes, because it was SummerSlam,
Seth was the
Bash in Berlin, and then Bad Blood because it was... Yeah, Seth was the ref. Bash in Berlin was the lights. Like, you had to hit the strap match and you had to hit all the lights. And then Bad Blood was the Hell in a Cell because that's how they wanted to finish it.
And so SummerSlam was in August?
Yeah.
So Drew, I'm not going to say single-handedly, but Drew carried the majority of that feud.
Yeah.
Because he was on TV every week. Because he was involved in stuff.
Yeah.
He turned a friendship bracelet
into a
blood feud.
Yeah.
A friendship bracelet.
He did stuff it down CM Punk's throat.
That's what I'm saying. So, although he didn't win any titles, he did win a title. He won the world championship at
5 minutes.
It doesn't. Yeah, but look at.
Then Punk screwed him over.
But look at how great he did with that, building that up. I mean, he's got a feud with Punk on one side, and he's feuding with Seth Rollins, while Rollins is in the middle of this bloodline feud.
Yeah.
The only other person I would say that maybe had just as good a year, overall totality wise, well, I guess 2. Gunther just had a phenomenal banger matches.
He was 2 champions 1 year.
Right. Banger matches.
Yeah.
I mean, even in a loss to Sami Zayn is a great match, and a loss to Cody.
I'm gonna
great match.
Stay strong on it. I think Damian also had an awesome year.
Damian had a great year.
I mean, he was Senior Money in the Bank. Him and they carried the Judgment Day. They led him to all these victories, and I think, Mania, he cashed in. He was champ till it was only SummerSlam. But if Finn didn't get involved in that match, I think we still had the potential of maybe seeing Damian as still champion.
Very possible.
I think they could have carried it longer. You knew Finn was going to do something, but I think you could still have Damian champ or recently losing the title. I don't think it could have been just that couple of months.
Right.
He still had an awesome year. Even after he was betrayed by Judgment Day, he just had this year. Like, I mean, he just tagged with the War Raiders, which was awesome. He had Jey Uso with him. He had Rio with him, and I think they just, I want to say they carried Raw, those three. I think those three just had this year that just kind of carried Raw and moved it forward a lot.
Very possible. So my third one, which is weird because he was out from Mania to SummerSlam and then
Roman?
was out for Seth Rollins. Look at the body of work Rollins did from Rumble to just Mania, right?
Yeah.
And then he main events night 1 of Mania,
and then kicks off
the next night with 2 phenomenal matches, and then closes night 2
with the Shield,
with a with the Shield, and then allowing taking a chair shot so Cody could win the championship, setting up a match still to be set at some point between him and Roman.
And then we get him and Punk on Monday, which is
gonna be great. But
out of all those matches, I think that's gonna be the best. Even if when Rio wins, I still think that's gonna be the best match. It's just a match that's been long awaited. You could tell last Raw, you said they weren't given a script. You could tell. I mean, Punk had all his AEW drops. Seth had his, oh, you've done everything, but you still suck, and all that. And then I think it's just going to, I understand now why it's main eventing the Raw. I think it's the long-awaited match. I mean, all those matches, are somewhat long-awaited. I don't think Jay and Drew is, a long-awaited because we, just had it. But I still think I think that's just kind of a match they put in there because they didn't have anything else.
All right. Well, I think we can both agree 2025 is going to be a great year for pro wrestling.
And
the WWE.
John Cena.
And John Cena's back.
But I guess we'll see if we're right on any of these.
So you know we won't see?
What?
John Cena.
Archer's child hero.
There you go. All right, you want to sign off?
How do I?
Just tell them thank you for watching.
Thank you guys for watching this first episode. I'm going to try to be constant. Maybe get my best friend on here.
There you go.
Because she's been watching. And yeah.
What else do they need to do?
Subscribe and watch more pro wrestling.
And like.
And watch more pro wrestling.
Right. And then, Kinley, what Casey won't ask you is if you know Rhea, if you could have Rhea watch it, that would
be awesome.
There you go.
Or Buddy. That would be cool too.
All right, say bye.
Bye.